Let me read to you a passage from the 6th chapter of St. Mark's Gospel, verses 1 to 6. It's the Gospel for Wednesday of the 4th week in Ordinary Time. St. Mark writes, Jesus left there and went to his hometown, accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath day came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. "Where did this man get these things?" they asked. "What is this wisdom that has been given to him? He even does miracles. Is not this the carpenter? Is not this the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? Are his sisters not here with us?" And they took offense at him. Jesus said to them, "Only in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his own house is a prophet without honor." He could not do any miracles there, except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. And he was amazed at their lack of faith. That's from Mark chapter 6, verses 1 to 6. What does this suggest to us? Well, it suggests things about faith. You know, in reading this passage, it is important that we bear in mind its context. In Mark's account, which is probably the account of Simon Peter, this return of our Lord to his home village of Nazareth occurred well into his Galilean ministry. All Mark has had to say of Nazareth to that point is his mention in the first chapter that Jesus came from Nazareth to be baptized by John in the river Jordan. Once baptized, and with John now in prison, Jesus returned to Galilee in the power of the Spirit, preaching the imminence of God's kingdom. In this account, Simon and Andrew are the first to be formally called to share in our Lord's ministry, together with James and John. This call occurs in Galilee, and Capernaum appears to be the base of our Lord's ministry in chapter 2. An intense program of teaching and miracles ensues in Galilee, and it is with the reputation of a great prophet that our Lord returns in chapter 6 to his hometown. They had heard of the miracles, and here they have among them once again their relative, friend, acquaintance. We can imagine the simplicity and modesty of our Lord as he takes up a brief abode in the town. Presumably, he stayed with his mother in the family dwelling, occupying his room once again. There would have been nothing of high airs about him. His would have been the same simplicity and humility that characterized his life during the years of his childhood, youth, and adulthood there, prior to his leaving for the baptism of John. He would have met his cousins, such as James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon, as we read, and friends of the village. He would not have borne about him any studied manner of the great man. Our Lord was too real for anything of that, too truthful, too accessible. The marvel of this situation is that here was the great God, yet a true man. And so he entered the synagogue and stood up to read, speaking on the text before him. And the village was amazed. They had never seen the like in speech and in wisdom. It would have been the most impressive public words ever uttered in that tiny village. That is to say, this man they knew so well suddenly manifested extraordinary qualities exceeding all their experience of him. They knew him so well, but it was now evident that they had not known him as well as they thought. There was a great mystery at hand, and the mystery was Jesus. He was far more than they had assumed. Were our Lord's townsmen to step forward to acknowledge the new reality being thus manifested before them, or were they to refuse? That was the question. We read that many who heard him were amazed. Where did the man get these things, they asked. What is this wisdom that has been given to him, that he even does miracles? Is not this the carpenter? Is not this Mary's son, and the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? Are not his sisters here with us?" They had heard of the miracles, and now they heard his inspired and heavenly words, expressing a faultless wisdom, the like of which Nazareth had never witnessed before. It thereupon placed them at the crossroads, and despite the manifest facts before them, we read that they took offence at him. They refused confidence in him. Our Lord came unto his own, and his own did not accept him. Observe just one detail, though. St. Mark tells us that many who heard him were amazed and reacted in this way. He does not say that this was so of all. Nazareth was a picture encapsulating the general pattern. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. He came unto his own, and his own did not receive him. But to all who did accept him, he gave the power to become children of God. The Nazarenes refused to accept in Jesus anything more than the simple and humble man with whom they had long been familiar. It looks like a common form of pride, a reluctance to acknowledge one who was revealed to be higher and more than they. Sin jostled in and pushed aside the Holy One. They refused to honour him beyond what was their comfortable custom. As our Lord sadly commented, only in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his own house is a prophet without honour. Ominously, it meant that he could not do any miracles there, except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. Presumably, the few sick people were among the few who did believe in him. Our Lord was amazed at their lack of faith, because the evidence was so manifest. There were his words of unparalleled wisdom, his existing renown for miracles, and of course the moral goodness in him that had all along been manifest to them, and which would have been the guarantee of his present truthfulness. Our Lord was amazed at their refusal to believe. Its source was sin, and its upshot was that they did not believe and did not receive the blessings of heaven available in him. Let us learn from this and resolve to make faith in Jesus Christ, who is true God and true man, the foundation of life.